Welcome back to the channel. So I ran across this article from the Roanoke Times, published in 1995, and the video that you're watching right now is footage of the Virginia Military Institute in 1998, so it kind of aligns in the same timeline. Anyways, the article title is VMI Rats Strain to Survive Hell, and the article goes like this. School officials expect 1 out of every 4 of the wide-eyed youths who stand in line at the rat induction ceremony to drop out before the end of the spring semester. The rebel yell rises to a fever pitch as the first of these 409 freshman cadets enter the barracks at the Virginia Military Institute for the final moments of their boyhood. So a little commentary is that VMI used to be all male, 100% all male, up until the late 90s once the Supreme Court ruled in favor of a co-ed education. Okay, continuing on with the article. They are ordinary teenagers who, for one last time, express their individuality with cheek haircuts, Bermuda shorts, and sleek sneakers. In groups of 40, they march onto a green courtyard for their hellish induction into the Institute. And it's a 156-year-old process designed to create the whole man. Overhead, on the 4-tiered barracks, stand taunting upperclassmen in crisp uniforms. Their deafening shouts remind the fidgeting freshmen below that by nightfall, their heads will be shaved, their worldly possessions locked in storage, and that each will answer to the name of Rat. At length, the entire freshman class, or rat mass, is at attention. The jeering gives way to the sharp tattoo of drums. Enter the cadre, 263 upperclassmen, marching flawlessly in gray waistcoats. They are the Institute's relentless lords of discipline, who will drill, torment, and punish the rats until they are deemed worthy of being VMI men. The drumming stops. All is quiet now, save the clicking of the heels of John Adams, regimental executive commander of the senior class. At exactly 90 steps a minute, he marches to the center of the second tier of the barracks, stops, and peers at the assembly. Rats, look up here, he commands. The Virginia Military Institute is the finest college in the world, he says in the clipped voice of a drill master. It has the best corps of cadets you will find anywhere. The men standing before you are the best of the cadets. They will teach and you will learn. With a sharp, unified clicking of heels, the cadre makes a quarter turn to face the freshmen. For 2 heartbeats, there is a pause. 409 pairs of boyish eyes strain to absorb the moment. Rats, Adams barks. Meet your cadre. The cadre charges into the stunned freshman ranks, screaming, threatening, and demanding push-ups. Idiot, what's your major malfunction? I said stand at attention. You call that attention? Put your shoulders back, get your chin in, look smart. This is your life, rat, and I'm your worst nightmare. 2 minutes later, the mass is galloping at double time up flights of stairs to the 4th tier of the barracks, where they, at least those who don't quit, will live for their freshman year. Move it, ladies, move it. From this day forth, the rats will be reminded that they have elected to enter not just the college, but a storied brotherhood designed to instill discipline, chivalry, and honor, and to produce tomorrow's leaders. Each time they exit the barracks, they will salute the looming statue of Confederate Lieutenant General Stonewall Jackson, who taught at the Institute before the Civil War. They will memorize the names of 10 cadets killed in the battle at Newmarket, 6 of whom are buried on campus. They will study the exploits of General George C. Marshall, VMI class of 1901, the legendary Army Chief of Staff in World War II. And they will be reminded in every waking hour that a cadet must never bring dishonor to the proud heritage of the Institute. It's all spelled out in their code of honor. A cadet does not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. This year, Hell Week at Virginia Military Institute began August 23rd and mercifully ended Tuesday with the first day of academic classes. During the intervening minutes, the freshmen had their skulls shaved, ran 2 miles each dawn, spent 6 hours a day in marching drills and countless more hours reciting and memorizing the arcane regulations and facts in the Institute's 60-page Rat Bible. They performed hundreds of penalty push-ups. They sat at stony attention during meals, resting their forks on the table between bites. They were roused from sleep one night for extra drilling. They folded and refolded their uniforms until they mastered the proper VMI crease, and they spent an eternity in the dreaded strain. A rat's customary posture of rigid attention, shoulders arched back, chin tucked tightly into the neck, and your forehead facing out. Life doesn't get much better for freshmen when Hell Week ends. For the next 7 months, they must endure the rat line. That means restricted movement on campus and no fraternizing with sophomores and juniors. Inside the barracks, any upperclassman can force a freshman to strain and to recite the menu of the day. The next 3 games on the varsity athletic schedule, endless rosters of campus officials, or any other fact contained in the Rat Bible. An error can result in room confinement or penalty marches. In addition, seniors can demand 20 push-ups on the spot. Any rat who chances to pass a classmate doing penalty push-ups is expected to drop and join him. That, according to VMI lore, helps build class spirit. The system is equal and impersonal in its application, a VMI manual says, tending to remove wealth and former status, ensuring equal opportunity for all to advance by personal effort and to enjoy those rewards which have been earned. Privileges gradually are given as cadets march closer to graduation, although no one ever gets a free romp on the campus. Seniors earn perks such as keeping cars on campus, extra leave time, and freedom to wear bathrobes in the barracks courtyards, provided, of course, that they have on a cap at such times. But ask any rat to enumerate his only privilege, and the answer comes back loud and clear. To strain, sir. VMI is one of only 2 state-supported all-male military colleges in the nation, the other being the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina. The culture has been under sharp attack in recent years from those who believe the state shouldn't bar women from the institutions. The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to decide this fall whether to hear arguments in a long-standing suit to admit women to VMI. In the meantime, the state last month opened a leadership program for women, the Virginia Women's Institute for Leadership, VWIL, at Mary Baldwin College in Staunton. The Citadel, however, was forced to admit Shannon Faulkner, its first female cadet, who quit after 4 days, prompting a celebration at the school. No one at VMI is publicly cheering about Faulkner. One reason is that regulations say a cadet does not exhibit ardor or hilarity in public. Another is that each cadet has seen plenty of brave young men also crack under the system. By the end of VMI's Hell Week, 29 rats, 7% of the class, had dropped out. That's a large but not unprecedented number. School officials expect that 1 out of every 4 who stood for induction won't make it through his freshman year. Just a side note, my rad year, I had 4 in my room, and by the end of our freshman year, our rad year, only 2 of us progressed to our 3rd class year. The other 2 had dropped out. So effectively in my room, my rad room, it was a 50% attrition rate. Anyways, resuming the article. VMI just isn't for everyone, said Army Lieutenant Colonel Michael Strickler, VMI class of 1971, the school's director of public relations. The cadre has been trained to recognize signs of stress. A chaplain and 23 seniors trained as peer counselors are on hand. Old rites, such as hazing, are taboo. Upperclassmen can and do yell until they're hoarse, but they risk expulsion for laying an ungentlemanly hand on a rat. Stroll the campus during Hell Week and you're likely to see a distraught rat, face beat red, eyes brimming with tears, demanding to go home, pulled out of formation. Counselors take over, walking the cadet to an air-conditioned building. We try to calm them down and get them to talk about why they decided to come to VMI in the first place, said James Richardson of Radford, captain of the counseling corps. We ask them if those reasons are still valid. We don't try to influence their decision. Sometimes a kid will gather his breath and get back in line. Sometimes they call their parents. Ultimately, leaving becomes the parents' decision. Resigning from the Institute is a painful choice for an 18-year-old on his first venture away from home. His parents will be out $800 if he leaves during Hell Week, more if he departs later in the year. Many of his high school friends wonder why he wanted to go to VMI in the first place. Now he must go home and face them, branded with a shaved skull. Leaving is a solemn rite. Usually mom or dad pulls up to the barracks. The cadet loads his footlocker in the trunk, gets in the passenger seat, and departs. VMI is fiercely protective of their identities. But for those who endure, there are long-term rewards that perhaps only a VMI man can truly comprehend. There are small classes and a solid educational program that specializes in engineering, mathematics, and history. Awarded near the close of the junior year is an esteemed class ring, signifying membership in the elite corps of the whole man. And there is an influential network of alumni who, from the securities of years of success in business, fondly recall the Institute and go out of their way to provide opportunity to a brother rat. It's real competitive in the business world, said Michael Burchick, a senior physics major from Clayville, Pennsylvania. I think VMI gives us an edge. Nobody gets a degree here without learning how to handle stress. That's just the reason why Cameron Mizzle of Frederick, Maryland, chose VMI. My dad said he knows a lot of guys who went to VMI, and that corporations just gobbled them up when they graduated. VMI does not let reporters talk to rats during Hell Week, but on the day it ended, officials allowed Mizzle and classmate Chris Ford of Tabernacle, New Jersey to be interviewed, choosing the pair because they were model rats. It's degrading. It's hard to take, said Forbes of Rat Life. I had myself convinced that I was fully prepared for it, and I learned that there's really no way to prepare for it. My head hasn't stopped spinning since I got here. Forbes waited a week before venturing to the mailroom to check on letters from home. I just couldn't get up the courage to go, he said. I kept thinking, what happens if I run into an upperclassman? Forbes and Mizzle's rules for survival? Never take the cadre's yelling personally. Never stand in the front or rear of a rat line where you can be singled out. And above all, keep a sense of humor. There are funny things that happen here, Ford said. When I'm turning in at night, I laugh about them with my roommates. That's just the tonic prescribed for freshmen on a flawless summer night last week as a cool breeze whisked through the barracks. 40 new cadets, drained in days from the day's drilling, sat at ease in a circle on the 4th barracks tier, seeking comfort in a pep talk by Kevin Trujillo, president of the sophomore class. "You guys have got to remain calm," Trujillo said. "You're gonna be facing mini rat lines all of your life. Get used to it." Above all, Trujillo warned, "Remember the VMI honor code. It's kind of sad that we live in a world where people don't have ethics and honor," he said. "That's where you guys come in, because you're gonna be leaders someday." And that concludes the article. You see, we don't choose VMI because we want to be comfortable and to do the status quo and to do what everyone else is doing. We answer the calling to go to VMI because we want to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves. We want and seek out discomfort. We want a challenge. We don't want to do what everyone else is doing. And the best part of it all is that you're going to be shoulder to shoulder and surrounded by like-minded individuals who want this challenge, who want this difficult life, who want to grow in a barracks that resemble the Spartan lifestyle. And being surrounded by such humans are going to push you, are going to challenge you, are going to make you into a better human. Because you're not going to be surrounded by lazy folks. You're not going to be surrounded by people that say, it's okay to just give up, it's okay to quit. You're going to be surrounded by people that are resilient, that exhibit mental fortitude, that develop discipline, that learn to never say die. That's why you pick a VMI, because you don't even know if you're going to be able to make it through. It's a challenge that makes grown men quit. You pick a VMI because you want to put in the hard work now so that later on in life, everything else will be easy and pale in comparison to the experience that you go through at VMI. You go to VMI for that brother rat camaraderie. You go to VMI for that alumni network. You go to VMI because you want to be different in 2023 when everyone else wants to be the same. That's why we go to VMI.
The first order of business. Put your hand on your white belt. That's yours. It was given to you by your cadre. And they said to you when they gave you that white belt that your life will change and that it was their responsibility to help that change in your life come about. Your life has changed for the better. Look at each other. Something missing. There are some people missing from your numbers. And your cadre said to you, every one of you who will stand the test of time, every one of you who can do the job, every one of you who will have the intestinal fortitude to stand up to the rigors of VMI will be seated in this room today. Some of your numbers did not make it. But rest assured with this one simple fact. Every one of them are still your brother rat. Every one of them, as to whether they made it or not. For whatever reason they left, they are still your brother rats. And to this day, and forevermore, you should think about them when you think about your cadre and this day. Are you ready for the last part of your journey? Yes, Sergeant Major! Are you ready to get rid of this white belt? Yes, Sergeant Major! Are you ready to take care of your VR? Yes, Sergeant Major! Are you ready to take care of the traditions of the Virginia Military Institute? Yes, Sergeant Major! Hoorah! Hoorah! stay forward, stand proud, know who you are, and protect the traditions of the Institute.